Hello, it's me again. If you want to know more about body rotation, shoulder rotation, and even how you're going to be able to improve it and what is important about it, maybe tune in to this episode of Let's Talk Swimming with my dear friend Alex from Scale Swimming. And yeah, I hope you like it. Oh yeah, please don't forget, like, follow, and turn on your notification for any further episodes I do. Enjoy.
So the statement was, if you do a high elbow catch, that's great and all for me as a swimmer because they saw my videos. If you do a swim like I do, a lot of people and teach high elbow catches and high elbow catch underwater and high elbow recovery. They tend to say that is problematic for people with shoulder problems, or it can raise shoulder problems. This is the statement they put out. Obviously, yes, I've been a swimmer and I'm still a swimmer, but I've on a pro level, and I've seen many friends of mine pros. Yes, shoulder problems is an issue in swimming because you do this movement a couple of thousand times in one session. Then afterwards you go and train in the gym for it as well, so you do it again. So the movement itself is a problem, but usually the problems the swimmers get is that they have problems with their muscles somehow. It's not necessarily that they do the movement wrong. So the pros usually get problems with impingement, that the muscle grows too quickly and then it gets inflamed inside. And the other thing is that they have just maybe something which was hindering themselves, or they did something wrong over time. Again, if you do a movement like a pro does in his training, so he goes 10Ks a day or 20Ks a day, he does this a couple of thousand times. So yes, shoulders is a problem, but you can prevent a lot of issues if you just do certain things right. This is my statement on the other hand.
Okay. Yeah, I've been quite lucky, touch wood. I've never had like a serious injury, or my shoulders have never bothered me. But, when I was training 18 hours a week or whatever, and then doing a bit of gym work as well, we always used to do pre-set. We used to do pre-pool stuff. So it was, you turn up 20 minutes early, and we would do a 20-minute of dry land warm-up. And we would just get the stretch bands or some stretch cords, or we'd just do some mobility stuff and just get moving, get the shoulders warm before you then get in and do, like you say, the thousands of reps of moving those shoulders around and around. So definitely preventative maintenance is definitely the way that you need to think about these things.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, good thing that you actually raised that side of it, because actually it is that can solve already a lot. So one thing can solve shoulder problems is that you warm up properly, that you do as you say with stretch cords and do the high elbow catch on the water on land, or just like warm it up in the end, and that is the first bet. I think it's true, but also I then say the other side is also very important, that you do after training some sort of cool downs properly, that you do it at the end of the session, that you do some stretching afterwards, like that you do these kind of movements to actually not prevent what happened in the training now, that it some sort of leads to something else, which then you drag on over and over time. I think that is the other side. And also, why do we do warm-ups in water and not go full steam on the first 1.5 kilometers in a session? Because we need to warm up then in the pool, and then the cool down is also important, and then you have the middle set. I think that is already solving a lot of issues, I think.
Yeah, definitely. That links back to what, that's setting your training into intervals. You've talked about intervals already, right?
Yeah, exactly,
so, these are just other different types of chopping up the session. So you have to do that warm-up. That's important. And especially if you're prone to injury, of course, you need to make sure that you do the warm-ups, but you also do the movements and the warm-ups correctly as well. So there's loads of free advice online. You've got lots of buddies that you work with as well that really give excellent demonstrations, don't they, to how to, correctly do your warm-ups, or correctly have the range of movement for those warm-ups.
Exactly. And also, again, when then we look at it from a technical point, so we have to warm up pre-session, 20 minutes, then we have to warm up in the pool, then we have the main set, and then we have the cool down and the cool down after the session, which is very important, which always need to be thought about. And then we come to the technical point, and here it is, which is less important for the pros because they kind of do it on a regular basis anyway before, so they're already doing their technical things. But it's more important for amateurs, which a lot of people neglect, who say to me, oh, I need to have shoulder mobility and whatsoever. So if you do warm-ups, like you said, experiments with stretch course and whatsoever, your shoulder mobility already gets better as such. And then the second thing what people are often confused about is one is in freestyle body rotation, so around the long X, so you have the body rotation, so it's with the shoulders because the rest doesn't move. It's the body rotation, so you really move your shoulders around the long X, which doesn't really have an impact on the shoulder itself. And then you have the shoulder rotation, and this combined actually solves again a lot of problems. And this is usually gets confused when you say body rotation, shoulder rotation. Usually people think that's one thing. No. It's two things. So one thing is the body rotation around the long X, where you really wanna when you enter the water at the front, your body turns to the side where you do your stroke. Here in my case would be the right side, and then you over course of this journey of the stroke itself, your shoulder rotate back, so the body rotates back to the other side when the other hand goes into the water, and so you have only this movement. It's like really this movement. And then the next thing is the shoulder rotation as itself as such. When you go into the water, and there I had a good saying a coach once said to me, it's like reaching something from a top shelf. When you go to the front, like when you stand in front of a shelf and there is something on the top shelf which you don't get. So try to reach up. And people, first of all, you turn your body, so you have the body rotation, but also then you rotate your shoulders out to the front. And that is another thing which solves it. Then you have actually high elbow catch because you can reach to the front, push it all the way back. And afterwards, and this is now the crucial point why people get confused and have problems in their shoulders, and this is what I think is the problem. Shoulder problems don't happen in the front, so when they need to do this movement. Shoulder problems happen when they have to go into minus on their back, when their body rotation is not good enough, so they rotate too little. Then they have to lift their arm back out a bit more, and then they have problem with this shoulder situation that they lift here. This is my arm, and in the shoulder joints, and then they have to go over it and then scratch every time they do it. They go into minus. So this is just my side of it. Why people who are not pros struggle.
Yeah, no, exactly. And those people that don't understand the importance of like reaching forward, like, your old coach said, reach for that top shelf, and that's how you really move. Front crawl freestyle, you really are rotating along that central axis, as you just said there. So really, it's kind of side stroke, right? Mm-hmm. And those people that haven't quite nailed the technical aspects of front crawl freestyle swimming, they're causing more and putting more stress on their shoulders than what they should be doing, because they're very flat in the water. They're resisting going straight forward, causing more resistance, making it harder. So if they do turn to the side, and then when you do that stroke correctly, you're taking off so much pressure away from the shoulders, and you're using your lats. That's why you see a lot of swimmers with this triangular shaped body, because the lat muscle is really, fundamental to the pull through the stroke.
Actually, that's right what you just said. And one other thing which also I want to emphasize here, and which I think people do wrongly, is they are too dependent on their breathing. But what they don't get is freestyle swimming. Kick is one thing. Stroke, the arm stroke, body rotation, like like around at the long axis, and the shoulder rotation with the stroke itself is the other thing. These all need to line up. Breathing is only added to it. Breathing needs to fit into that construct, that system, not the other way around. And that is usually where people also go wrong, because they then say, when they go into the water, oh, I need to swim. So, oh, I saw swimming freestyle is easy, so I'm going to do, I need to do like a propeller, and that should work. So they leave it there. So they go in and then realize, oh, hold on, I need to somehow breathe. So they do the breathing. That is another topic as such, but breathing itself. But then they do it, and they only turn their shoulders when they have to go and breathe. And the rest, they are flat in the water, and it's just with their arms. When they need to breathe, oh, now I do it.
And then when they do that big breath, they then start to snake as well. So they're all over the place.
Exactly. And then usually comes back to me when I say, no, you need to do the body rotation equally. No, but then it's one-sided because it's only to the breathing. No. Again, freestyle swimming is, the system works, the technique works. You need to look that you need to see to that the kicks and the stroke, the body rotation aligns. And breathing is only added into the system. This is another video I showed on my Instagram account. Actually, it is like that when you turn it, your head is stable. When you breathe, you just lock it in.
Good demo. Well done, Marcus.
So my breathing is only added to it. Breathing doesn't define how my body rotation goes. Body rotation as such needs to stand on its own. You need to be able, and that's why usually swimming with a snorkel helps. You need to be able to put down a snorkel. Take a snorkel in your mouth. There is power breather, which has two sides. It depends. It's a very good tool. Or there's the normal stroker, which goes up front. So power breather is the mouthpiece in the middle, and then two air vents go up on the side. And the Speedo Finnish snorkel arena goes in front, up in the middle. Both work. Both are equally good, I think. It's very powerful tools, and actually there you can train that. So you're flat in water, and you need to see that your shoulders turn as well without the breathing is now solved, and then you need to try to align the whole system. So that would be another tool which I would use in that sense.
Yeah, and when you're learning to swim, like the hardest thing, and I see it so often, people are trying to think about so many things at once. But I'm just going to say, like, when you're talking about the importance of warm up and the importance of cool down, like, clearly that's fundamental and that's very important. But those who swim with me at lunchtime are going to be laughing if they see this, because I like to call it efficiency. I do a very minimal warm up. So I'm very lucky that I don't get injured. And my cool down is a nice hot shower and a big stretch in that hot shower.
Oh,
I know,
I
I'm going to fess up.
it.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
I can't believe it.
I know.
No. Well, even us. I mean, if people look at me, I mean, I personally, I do a lot of drills in the gym, in my own gym, and I do drills there, and I do the warm ups and whatsoever. So back in the days when I used to swim professionally, yeah, we did warm up and there was fine. Nowadays, and it was important, and we didn't always see it why we needed to do it, but it is important, and I think it can solve already a lot of problems for swimmers as such in general. But nowadays, how I do it, because you have a certain limitation of timing and whatsoever, so I try to embed it into my gym training, the warm up, or at least to get my joints activated, and that they get the imitation of the stroke as such. But what I do then at the pool is usually I do a very, very good warm up in the water. So I'm not going to go full steam ahead or like full speed and just stop with intervals. No, I usually it takes usually 1 to 2 kilometers until I'm in. Then I still have enough time to do my intervals, but it takes. And also within an interval, I see that my times get faster just because I get warmer. So that is usually how I do it nowadays, and really let the solving of issues of pain to my gym sessions, which I have 1 or 2 in a week, which helps me anyway. Now, this is nowadays, but this is due to time management, I think.
Yeah. And so I coach masters swimmers still, and because lots of master swimmers have pre-existing niggling injuries, or we have to be careful. Even in an hour session, I'll give them up to a 30-minute warm-up. Long, steady warm up. Just to, they might have a few spikes of speed in there or whatever it might be, and I do mix it up. For them. But just giving them a big long warm up gets them ready. It still gives us half an hour, or we'll say 20 minutes with a cool down. 20 minutes of real high intensity or good quality swimming, and they can get a lot out of that session. And by doing that big long warm up, it certainly reduces their chance of picking up any new injuries.
Exactly. Like shoulder problems occur not because you do a high elbow catch or because you're afraid of it. Shoulder problems happen because either you don't do a proper warm up, you don't do a proper a gym session where you actually support these muscles which are there. Again, for pros, you can deviate from that a bit, but then there is a specific problem. But shoulder problems as such for amateurs to start with swimming is usually, as I said, warm up outside of pool, dryland drills, warm up in the water just to give the joints in. I mean, the warm up can be technical drills, which actually helps and is also a warm up, and after the session again. And the next thing is, which should not be confused, technique as such. You have body rotation around the long axis in freestyle swimming. That is one thing, and the other thing is the shoulder rotation, which goes along with the stroke itself, and doing that movement. And if you do that properly and never go into a minus position on the back, and as long as you do that properly, it solves, first of all, a lot of problems with the snailing and everything like that, but also it solves a lot of shoulder problems, which is it. So again, body rotation, shoulder rotation, and the last thing is breathing, and this is really important also to emphasize, has nothing to do with your shoulder problems. Breathing is an additive thing into the whole system, which is aligned with kicks, body rotation, stroke, and shoulder rotation. That's as a statement.
Very well put. I totally agree with you there. Yeah, so just to add there about the importance of what you talked about, the body rotation along that central axis. If a swimmer's trying high elbow for the first time, they might still be flat in the water and then not rotating along that central axis. And by just trying to do that incorrectly, that will then put more pressure on their shoulders. So they need to make sure that they are rotating along that central axis, reaching forward. And then when you turn that whole body and try that high elbow catch, that's definitely not going to put additional pressure on your shoulders.
Exactly. I would agree with that. So yeah, it was a really nice call again. Thank you very much. And there will be so much for shoulder rotation. Before I forget it, for anyone who listens and wants to see it and has other questions, just drop it in the comments and follow. By the way, follow us. Scale Swimming and Marcus Martin. Cheers.
Cheers, Marcus.